Mm-mm.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good to see you here in our webinar series from Faculty of Engineering. We have a new topic today to discuss, which is introduction to alternative fuel, and we have a fuel expert over here, which is TS Dr. Nur Atikah Ramlan. All right. Um, Dr. Atika will take over the screen in a bit, and yep, in a
Okay.
moment, please.
All right. Can you see my screen?
All right, yes,
All
we
right.
can see the screen.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shi. Assalamualaikum
Welcome.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for joining us in this webinar. My name is Dr. Natika Ramlan from Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, Masai University. I'm from Department of Mechanical Engineering. So today I'm going to present this webinar entitled Introduction to Alternative Fuels. And as you can see here, this is my details. So if you have any inquiries, feel free to contact me through my emails. All right. First, let's start with the definition of fuel. So, what is fuel actually? If you directly Google fuel, okay, you may find that the definition is the material such as coal, gas, or oil that is burned to produce heat or power. So the keyword here is burn. Okay, let's say you have a paper. Does it consider as fuel? Yes, it is because it can be burned and also can produce heat. But in this context that we are going to discuss today is the fuel that is specifically used in the automotive application. And the fuel that we have today is coming from fossil fuel. So what is fossil fuel? Fossil fuels are the compound mixture made of fossilized plants and animal remains from millions of years ago. And the creation of fossil fuel, either oil, natural gas, or coal from these fossils, is determined by the type of fossil, the amount of heat, and the amount of pressure. And the common fossil fuel that we use for transportation is from oil source, and we know that this source is getting decreased day by day. And then from this fossil fuel, it can produce two conventional fuel that we already have in market, okay, which is gasoline and diesel fuel. So what is the difference between fuel? Okay, oh sorry. So gasoline fuel. Gasoline fuel, as you can see here, there are many difference between these two fuels. Okay, one of the major difference is of course type of engine. Okay, where the diesel fuel will use in the diesel engine, and then for the gasoline fuel using in the gasoline engine. And as you can read here, okay, diesel fuel relies on the compression to ignite fuel rather than spark plug. So this means that diesel fuel needs a high amount of pressure and temperature to ignite. And then diesel fuel also produce more horsepower and torque generated by the lower RPM, which is the revolution per minute. On the other hand, gasoline fuel has faster ignition because it is utilized spark plug to create combustion. And gasoline fuel is also more readily available in the market. However, it requires higher RPMs to produce more horsepower and torque compared to diesel engine. In terms of exhaust emission, we can obviously see that diesel engines such as truck, bus, and marine vehicles produce very bad black smoke and also include the compounds of nitrogen. However, still diesel fuel still emits lower carbon monoxide when compared to gasoline fuel, where you can see gasoline fuel produce a high amount of carbon monoxide but has lower smoke and compound of nitrogen. And now, why does it important to know all these composition produced by all types of vehicles engines? Okay, this is because the transportation sector, including private cars, motorcycles, light and heavy-duty vehicles, is the most important contributor of the atmospheric pollutants. Okay, there is some known pollutants, the emission which caused by the transportation sector, such as nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon, particulate matter, and so on. And all these pollutant emission is coming from the incomplete combustion, reaction between mixtures, which is coming from different temperature and pressure. And also it coming from combustion of engine, lubricating oil, and also from fuel additives. Let's take a look at the example of incomplete combustion. For complete combustion, when the fuel, name it diesel or gasoline, react with oxygen, okay, it will produce carbon dioxide and water. However, when incomplete combustion occurred, okay, the carbon dioxide that should be produced will turn into carbon monoxide and etc. And some other condition, okay, the engine, when it reacts with the surrounding in the engine as well, it will produce other pollutant emission such as nitrogen oxide, hydrocarbon, and so on. And this is also we call as the pollutant emission. All these pollutant emission from the exhaust will give bad effect which can categorize into human health and environment. Okay, as you can see here, to the human health, okay, the exhaust emission can affect to the eye, nose, and throat irritation. It also can cause asthma, heart problem, brain damage, bronchitis, lung cancer, and also bladder cancer. To the environment, the bad exhaust emission will will affect the air quality, causing the acid rain, causing the climate change, global warming, reducing the soil yields, and also reducing the crop yields. Therefore, researchers had figured out many ways in order to solve this issue. And one of the methods is by improving the fuels using alternative fuels. In addition, the fuel crisis of the 1970s and 1980s have focused the world attention on the desire to develop alternative fuels and decrease the dependency on fossil fuel. And the efforts have been directed towards alternative fuels for the internal combustion engines. And overall, we can summarize that there are three main causes of the implementation of the alternative fuels utilization, which are exhaust emission control, fuel efficiency, and also fossil fuel dependency. So nowadays, we can see that there are many types of alternative fuels that we have in our world today, such as biodiesel. Biodiesel is a renewable alternative fuel produced from a wide range of vegetable oils and animal fats and go through a process called transesterification. And pure biodiesel is compatible with most diesel engine and is commonly blended with petroleum diesel. The biodiesel also has a characteristic similar to conventional diesel, and it is also oxygenated, which leads to more complete combustion. It has a better lubricating properties that are important to reduce premature wearing, and it is significantly can reduce the hydrocarbon and sulfur oxide. Besides, it is biodegradable and also non-toxic. The other alternative fuels is the electricity. And nowadays, we can see many hybrid vehicles use electricity to reduce fuel consumption and thus reduce fuel costs. At the same time, there are many initiatives that provides electric vehicles charging solutions around the world. And the other is ethanol and emulsion. For the emulsion fuel is one of the promising alternative fuel which can improve the combustion efficiency of a diesel engine and simultaneously reduce harmful exhaust emission. However, the use of surfactant to stabilize the emulsion adds additional cost to this type of alternative fuel. And the rest are hydrogen, natural gas, and also ULSD. ULSD is actually the ultra low sulfur diesel. The US EPA defined ULSD as a diesel with a maximum content of 15 ppm. And as we already know, the existence of sulfur in diesel fuel enhance the formation of harmful components such as nitrogen oxide and also particulate matter. Therefore, the efforts to reduce the sulfur and other chemical compound levels in diesel fuel have high potential to reduce harmful emission. And then next, what you can see, the application of the alternative fuel. As you can see here, for the biodiesel, usually biodiesel can be used in the diesel vehicles. For the electricity, it can either be used in the hybrid vehicles or plug-in electric vehicles. And then for the ethanol, it can be used in the flexible fuel vehicles. For hydrogen, it is specifically used in the fuel cell vehicles. And for the natural gas, it is also specifically used in the natural gas vehicles. And for the propane also, specifically is used in the propane vehicles. What is the alternative fuel that we have in the Malaysia market? And I think this is already in the last slide before we finish. So in Malaysia, okay, we already implement the use of ultra low sulfur diesel fuel, which also known as diesel Euro 5 in most local petrol pump. Usually, the price of the Euro 5 is 10 cents higher compared to conventional diesel. Then we also, then we also, huh? Okay, really. All right. So now, okay. So now we are in the Malaysia potential market. Okay. So as you can see, alternative fuel that we have in Malaysia has been used in many things. Okay, the alternative fuel that we can use in Malaysia is in terms of four category, which is ULSD, which is ultra low sulfur diesel, also known as Euro 5. And the next one is the biodiesel. So biodiesel is the that we can use in Malaysia. We know that it is already implemented in the diesel fuel in Malaysia. Okay, where we can see that in Malaysia, the diesel already contains 5 to 10% biodiesel from our palm oil. And the third one is the natural gas, or also known as CNG, in also has been used in most petrol pump in Malaysia. And the last one is the electricity. So, for example, in Malaysia, we can see that Green Tech Malaysia's Charge EV network has over 300 charging stations nationwide to help keep battery level of electrical car in a full mode. So with all of these options, and if you can spend some money, okay, let's make a better choice in order to save our earth. And it's time to bring this presentation to a close. If you have any inquiries, kindly leave your comments and in the chat box given here. And I think that's all from me. Thank you.